Welcome back. Now it's time for our question and answer session. If you have a question yourself, send it to us at QuranSpeaks.com. So Dr. Shabir, our first question is about Muslim names. Many converts, when they embrace Islam, they change their name to a Muslim-sounding name. Is that important to do? Would you recommend it, or would you recommend that people keep their original names?
It's hard to say what is recommended, but to be very clear, it's not required. This is quite clear. One can retain a name that one had before Islam after embracing Islam. And in fact, it is known that among Muslims throughout the world, people have had names from a variety of languages. The important thing for a Muslim name is that it should not reflect something that is contrary to the spirit or to the major teachings of Islam. So for example, if somebody was named servant of Christ, for example, that might be a little bit questionable, because we might want to know, does servant mean you're serving Christ's message, or does it mean that you're worshiping Christ? There's a bit of a gray area from a Muslim point of view. So we might, a person may want to change that name to say servant of God. So now it becomes very clear. We worship God and no one else. But most names are, in fact, with good meanings, and that's what is important too in a Muslim name. When we name our children, we want to give them names with good meanings so that they have something to live up to. If we name a child Muhsin, for example, we mean that he's generous and kind and good. So the person says, that's my name. I can't act contrary to my name. We name our children after the great figures of history, especially prophets and messengers of God, important persons in the history of Islam known for their piety and God consciousness and so on. But many English names have that meaning too, like the name Gabriel is named after an angel, or Michael is named after an angel, Raphael, another angel. So many English names actually are good names, and the names of the prophets appear in English as well, like Abraham and Moses and Jonah and so on. So people having such good names have no reason to change their names to have a Muslim sounding name. That's Muslim enough. Why do people change their names? Sometimes it happens by gradual evolution within the community. A person comes to Islam, they embrace Islam, and let's say the person's name is John, and a Muslim says, John, well, we know John as Yahya in Arabic, so your name is Yahya. And then that person owns up to the name Yahya in Arabic, so he might be Yahya to the Muslim community, but John to his family. And how they navigate this is, you know, if they're comfortable with that, that's fine. Changing the surname is problematic, because it is known that in the Islamic tradition that it is important to know who is related to whom, because of course that affects marriage, for example. Two persons too closely related to each other cannot get married to each other. So we need to preserve the biological identities of people, and that's often retained through their surname. Johnson is really John's son, and Smithson is Smith's son. And the son is often not used so much nowadays, but we know from the surname of an individual who he is or she is related to by birth, genealogically. So we need to retain that. So a person definitely should not change his or her last name, because that is important for identity. And moreover, do I finally recommend, which was your question, I would say no. I don't actually recommend anyone to change their names, because their names were given to them by their parents after much deliberation and thought. So that name is important to the parent. What is important to this person who is embracing Islam is to embrace Islamic theology, not to reject everything that their parents stood for, and their parents still have some rights on them. So when the parents have given them that name, it should be retained out of respect for the parents, unless, of course, as I said, the name itself is objectionable from a Muslim point of view, in which case one will have to say, sorry, mom and dad, now the name no longer fits my theology. I have to let that name go, though I respect and love you guys. But retaining the name and retaining the family traditions and so on that are not contrary to the religion of Islam, that would be a way of showing the balance. I've embraced a new faith, but I also respect my family and my family's traditions and what they stand for.
Okay, thank you for that very comprehensive answer.
You're welcome.
Hey YouTube, we hope you benefited from this video. If you liked it, or if you didn't, let us know in the comments below. And if you're interested in learning more, check out some of our other videos. And don't forget to subscribe so you can get new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.